Stop everything right now, because I'm about to destroy 20 myths about Harley Davidson that people still believe in 2025. And I guarantee at least 5 of these myths you personally think are true. After 40 years of riding Harleys, wrenching on them, and watching the internet spread absolute lies about these motorcycles, I've had enough. It's time someone with actual experience calls out the BS that basement dwellers and keyboard warriors keep repeating. Some of these myths were never true. Some were true 40 years ago, but haven't been accurate in decades. And some are deliberately spread by people who've never thrown a leg over a Harley, but love to hate on them anyway, whether you love Harleys, hate them, or have never ridden one. By the end of this video, you'll know the real truth instead of the manufactured nonsense that dominates internet forums and comment sections. Before I destroy these myths one by one, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, because the Harley haters are going to lose their minds in the comments, and you're going to want to see that train wreck unfold in real time. Let's start with the biggest myth of all. Everyone who's never owned a Harley loves to claim they're unreliable oil-leaking disasters that leave you stranded constantly. This myth comes from the AMF era between 1969 and 1981, when American Machine and Foundry owned Harley and prioritized profits over quality. Those bikes genuinely had problems. They leaked oil, had weak electrical systems, and suffered from poor quality control. But here's what the haters conveniently forget. That was over 40 years ago. Modern Harleys built after 2000 are extremely reliable when properly maintained. Consumer reports and actual reliability data show Harleys running 100,000 miles or more without major issues. The truth is that most reliability complaints come from owners who bought used bikes that previous owners neglected or modified improperly. A well-maintained modern Harley is as reliable as any motorcycle on the market. But the myth persists because it's easier to repeat old stereotypes than acknowledge reality. The classic joke, "How do you know your Harley is out of oil? It stops leaking. Everyone's heard it. Everyone repeats it, and it's been wrong for decades." Yes, older Harleys leaked oil. The AMF-era bikes leaked from everywhere: heads, cases, primary covers. If you parked one overnight, you'd find a puddle underneath every morning. Modern Harleys with Evolution engines from 1984 onward, and especially Twin Cam and Milwaukee 8. Engines have excellent gasket technology and seal design. They don't leak unless something is wrong or improperly serviced. I've owned multiple modern Harleys that never leaked a drop in years of ownership. My garage floor stays clean. The myth about constant oil leaks is pure fiction based on bikes that haven't been built in 40 years. But you'll still see people comment, "Leave a pan under it," on every Harley post, because internet trolls love repeating tired jokes more than they care about facts. Another persistent myth is that Harleys are only good for short cruises and can't handle serious long-distance touring. This one is particularly absurd. Harley Davidson builds some of the best touring motorcycles in the world. The Road Glide, Street Glide, and Ultra Limited are specifically designed for eating up highway miles in comfort. These bikes have large fuel tanks that provide 200+ mile ranges, comfortable ergonomics designed for all-day riding, excellent wind protection, and luggage capacity that rivals cars. People ride Harleys coast to Sturgis and around the country constantly. I've personally done multiple 500+ mile days on Harleys without any issues. The bikes handled it better than my body did. The myth comes from people who've never actually ridden a touring Harley and assume all Harleys are rigid frame choppers from 1970s movies. Modern touring Harleys are as capable of long-distance riding as any motorcycle made. Critics love to claim Harleys are too heavy, unwieldy, and difficult to maneuver. This reveals they've never actually ridden one. Yes, Harleys are heavy bikes. A fully loaded touring model can weigh 900 pounds or more, but weight and handling are not the same thing. Harleys have low centers of gravity and excellent weight distribution. Once moving, they're stable, confidence-inspiring, and easier to handle than their weight suggests. The weight actually helps with highway stability and crosswind resistance. At parking lot speeds, proper technique makes the weight manageable. Thousands of riders of all sizes handle heavy Harleys just fine once they learn proper low-speed maneuvering techniques. The heaviness myth comes from people who sat on a parked Harley at a dealer, felt the weight, and assumed that translates to poor handling. It doesn't. Physics and engineering design matter more than raw weight numbers. This stereotype is everywhere. Harleys are supposedly only ridden by middle-aged white men having midlife crises. It's nonsense. Walk through any Harley dealership or rally, and you'll see riders of every age, gender, and ethnicity. Women riders are one of Harley's fastest growing demographics. Young riders are increasingly choosing Harleys for their first bikes. The diversity of Harley owners doesn't match the stereotype at all. The myth persists because it's comfortable for critics to dismiss Harley riders as a monolithic group they can easily mock. Actually, acknowledging the diversity of Harley ownership would require admitting that millions of different people from different backgrounds all choose Harleys for good reason. Some people genuinely believe Harleys are so slow they can't keep up with normal traffic flow. This is hilariously wrong. Even the smallest modern Harley Sportster makes over 50 horsepower and can easily cruise at highway speeds. Larger bikes, like the Road King or Street Glide, make 90 to 100 horsepower and can effortlessly maintain 80 mph all day. Modern Harleys have no problem keeping up with traffic, passing when needed, or merging onto highways. The myth comes from people who don't understand that motorcycles don't need 200 horsepower to function normally on public roads. Harleys aren't built for track day lap times. They're built for comfortable cruising at real-world speeds, and at those speeds, they perform perfectly. Critics claim Harleys are technologically primitive bikes stuck in the past. This was maybe true 20 years ago. It's completely false today. Modern Harleys feature ride-by-wire throttles, multiple riding modes, traction control, ABS brakes, cornering ABS, touchscreen infotainment systems with navigation, Bluetooth connectivity, LED lighting, and sophisticated engine management systems. The Milwaukee 8 engine uses variable valve timing. The Pan America Adventure bike has adaptive ride height and semi-active suspension. Harley's electric live wire had cutting-edge technology before most manufacturers even considered electric bikes. Harley has embraced technology while maintaining their traditional aesthetic. The technology is there for riders who want it, implemented in ways that don't compromise the classic Harley look. But the no technology myth persists because critics don't actually look at modern Harleys. They base their opinions on bikes from 1995 and assume nothing has changed. The motorcycle wave is a tradition among riders, and some people insist Harley riders don't wave because they think they're too cool or above other riders. This is projection. The vast majority of Harley riders wave. They're part of the same riding community as everyone else and share the same love of motorcycles and the open road. When Harley riders don't wave, it's usually for the same reasons any rider might not wave. They're concentrating on traffic. They're in the middle of a turn. They didn't see you, or their hands are busy with controls at that moment. The myth exists because confirmation bias is real. If you expect Harley riders not to wave, you'll notice and remember every time they don't, while forgetting all the times they do. Harley riders are just riders. Some wave, some don't, just like every other type of motorcyclist. Critics claim Harleys need constant maintenance and cost a fortune to keep running. This exaggeration has almost no basis in reality for modern bikes. Modern Harleys have 5,000-mile service intervals, which is standard for motorcycles. The services themselves are straightforward: oil changes, inspections, and occasional valve adjustments. Parts are widely available and reasonably priced. Yes, dealer service can be expensive, but that's true for any brand. Many Harley owners do their own basic maintenance, which is simple and well documented. The myth comes from people who compare apples to oranges. They'll compare a neglected 20-year-old Harley that needs major repairs to a brand new Japanese bike under warranty and claim Harleys are expensive. That's not a fair comparison. Properly maintained modern Harleys don't require more maintenance than other bikes. They might require different maintenance, but not more expensive or more frequent maintenance. Related to the maintenance myth is the belief that Harleys are so complicated and problematic that you need mechanical skills to own one. This was perhaps true for bikes from the 1970s, when reliability was questionable, and you might need to fix things on the side of the road. It's not true for modern Harleys. Modern Harleys are designed to be reliable and require only routine maintenance that any motorcycle needs. You don't need special skills beyond basic maintenance that applies to any bike. Thousands of Harley owners have never turned a wrench and rely entirely on dealer service. The bikes run fine with proper professional maintenance. The myth persists because it's comforting for critics to imagine Harley ownership as difficult and problematic. Acknowledging that modern Harleys are reliable and easy to own would undermine their narrative. Critics constantly claim Harleys are overpriced compared to other brands. This reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of what determines value. Yes, Harleys cost more than some comparable motorcycles from other brands. But you're not just buying specifications and horsepower numbers. You're buying American manufacturing, iconic design, strong resale value, and membership in the largest motorcycle community in the world. Harleys hold their value better than almost any other motorcycle brand. A well-maintained Harley can be sold for 70 to 80% of purchase price years later. Japanese bikes depreciate much faster. The value proposition is strong when you factor in resale value, build quality, and the total ownership experience. Harleys aren't overpriced. They're priced for what they deliver to buyers who value what they offer. If all you care about is horsepower per dollar, buy something else. If you value the complete Harley experience, the price makes sense. Now, let's address a myth that Harley owners themselves believe. The idea that loud exhaust pipes make you safer by alerting cars to your presence is mostly wishful thinking. Sound doesn't work that way. Exhaust noise projects backward and to the sides, not forward. Drivers in front of you with windows up and music playing won't hear you until you're alongside them, which is too late. Studies show loud pipes have minimal safety impact. What actually saves lives is defensive riding, proper lane positioning, conspicuous clothing, and assuming drivers don't see you. Loud pipes are fine if you like the sound or want the performance from better flowing exhausts. But claiming safety benefits is self-justification for something you want anyway. Be honest about it. This myth persists because Harley riders want to believe their loud pipes serve a practical purpose beyond sounding cool. Critics claim Harleys can't lean into corners and handle terribly compared to sport bikes. This compares bikes designed for different purposes. Harleys aren't built for knee-dragging track days. They're designed for comfortable cruising on real roads, but within their design parameters, they handle fine. Modern Harleys have good suspension, sticky tires, and competent chassis engineering. They lean further than most riders will ever push them on public roads. Cornering clearance is adequate for spirited street riding. Yes, sport bikes corner better. That's their entire purpose. But claiming Harleys can't corner is absurd. Thousands of riders take Harleys through mountain twisties every day without problems. The myth comes from people who think every motorcycle should handle like a race bike. Different designs serve different purposes. Harleys corner well enough for their intended use. Critics call the V-twin engine design primitive and outdated compared to modern inline fours and parallel twins. This misses the entire point. Harley's V-twin design is intentional. It provides the torquey characteristics, sound, and character that Harley buyers want. It's not outdated, it's traditional by choice. Modern Harley V-twins use advanced materials, precise manufacturing, sophisticated fuel injection, and variable valve timing. The design may be traditional, but the engineering is cutting edge. Calling it outdated is like calling Porsche's rear engine design outdated. It's a deliberate choice that defines the brand's character. If you want a screaming inline four, buy a different brand. Harley customers want V-twin torque and sound. That's not a weakness, it's a feature. Some people claim Harley vibration is so excessive it's uncomfortable or even dangerous. This confuses character with problem. Yes, Harleys vibrate. That's part of the V-twin experience. But modern Harleys use rubber mounting, counterbalancers, and careful engineering to manage vibration to acceptable levels. Touring models with rubber-mounted engines are remarkably smooth for air-cooled V-twins. The vibration that remains is more character than discomfort. If you want zero vibration, buy a BMW inline 6 or an electric bike. If you want the feel and soul of a traditional V-twin, some vibration is part of the package. Excessive vibration that causes numbness or component failures is a problem. Normal V-twin character is not. Critics who've never ridden Harleys long distance don't understand the difference. Critics claim finding parts for Harleys is difficult and expensive. This is backwards from reality. Harley parts are some of the most widely available motorcycle parts in existence. Harley's dealer network is massive. Online retailers stock everything. The aftermarket for Harley parts is enormous. Finding parts for a 20-year-old Harley is easier than finding parts for a 5-year-old bike from a defunct brand or a gray market import. Yes, Genuine Harley parts can be expensive, but aftermarket alternatives are usually available at lower prices. The parts availability for Harleys is actually one of their strengths. The myth comes from people who've never actually tried to find Harley parts, and just assume they must be rare and expensive. Some people claim Harleys are fair-weather bikes that can't handle rain, cold, or adverse conditions. This is ridiculous. Harleys ride in all weather conditions. The bikes have excellent rain performance with modern tire compounds and ABS brakes. Heated grips and seats are available. Fairings and windshields provide weather protection. Harley owners ride year-round in all climates. The bikes handle winter riding, rain, and harsh conditions as well as any motorcycle. The myth probably comes from the stereotype of Harleys as show bikes that never get dirty. Real Harley owners ride in all conditions because they're real motorcycles, not garage jewelry. The final myth is that Harley ownership requires joining some exclusive cult-like community where everyone dresses the same and thinks the same. Harley owners are as diverse as any group of people. Some participate in hog chapters and rallies. Others ride solo and never interact with other Harley owners. There's no requirement to conform to any particular image. The Harley community is welcoming and inclusive, but participation is entirely optional. You can own a Harley and ride however you want, dress however you want, and associate with whoever you want. The cult myth is pushed by people uncomfortable with the idea that Harley owners might genuinely enjoy community aspects that come with the brand. They project cult behavior onto normal social bonding over shared interests. Looking at all 20 myths, a pattern emerges. Most myths about Harleys come from people who've never owned or seriously ridden them. They're based on outdated information, internet stereotypes, and confirmation bias. Myths persist because they're comfortable. They allow critics to dismiss millions of Harley owners as wrong or foolish, without considering that maybe those people have good reasons for their choices. Myths also persist because they get repeated endlessly online. Someone who rode an AMF-era Harley in 1975 shares their experience, and it gets treated as current information 50 years later. The internet amplifies myths because controversial claims get more engagement than boring truth. Harleys are reliable and fine, doesn't get clicks. Harleys are overpriced garbage, starts arguments, and generates traffic. Here's the actual truth that myths obscure. Harleys are well-built motorcycles designed for a specific type of riding experience. They're not better or worse than other brands. They're different, with different priorities. Modern Harleys are reliable, well-engineered motorcycles that serve their intended purpose excellently. They're not perfect. No motorcycle is. But they're not the disasters that myths claim. If you want a Harley and understand what they offer, buy one. If you want something different, buy that instead. Both choices are valid. The myths only matter if you let them influence decisions without seeking actual facts. Now, I want to hear from you. How many of these myths did you believe before watching this video? Be honest. Drop a number in the comments. And if you're still convinced any of these myths are true, explain why in the comments. Let's have a real discussion based on facts and experience, not internet stereotypes. Hit that subscribe button for more myth-busting content that challenges the BS that dominates motorcycle discussion. Share this with anyone who believes these tired old myths. And remember, the best way to learn about motorcycles is to actually ride them, not to repeat what you read in comment sections from people who've never thrown a leg over one. The truth matters more than comfortable myths, always.